if all the men on Earth suddenly disappeared except you? What will it feel like to be the last guy on Earth? Well, that's exactly what happened to young Yorick. It happened suddenly, without warning.
Something's wrong.
The mother of one of the male victims rushes to find help from a female cop, but the cop explains to her that there's nothing she can do, as all the men in the world are suddenly dying for no reason.
All the men are dead.
29 minutes before the strange incident, young Yorick is having a conversation with his girlfriend Beth over the phone while practicing his craft as an escape artist. His career isn't doing so well and he's trying to get a job.
You didn't get the job, did you?
No, I didn't.
While Beth is trying to encourage him, Yorick gets another phone call from his mom.
Hey, Mom.
It's 24 minutes before the incident, when his mother, who's a congresswoman, calls in to confirm if he had gotten the job.
Did you get the job, man?
Doesn't sound like it, no.
Just then, the senator appears, demanding to have a word with her. Under a secluded tree, he airs his grievances, berating her for not supporting his party as regards the latest amendment. They have a heated argument, but just before things get any worse, their discussion is abruptly interrupted.
Excuse me, sir, you're needed in the West Wing.
My meeting isn't until 7.
This is at the request of POTUS, sir. I was told to tell you it concerns 355.
We'll continue our discussions later, Representative.
What's 355, man? That's not the bill, is it?
Who knows, but if he's meeting with the president, it's probably about baseball.
Meanwhile, Yorick and Beth are still having a long discussion. Yorick reveals that he had gotten a rather troublesome pet monkey that he'd volunteered to train until he could get a job. While he's trying to catch the monkey, which he'd named Ampersand, it grabs the TV remote and turns on the news. At the same time, the reporters from the TV are wrapping up their report when the cameraman suddenly gets stone on the head.
Oh!
Some Palestinian outlaws are bullying them, but thankfully, an Israeli soldier named Alter comes to their rescue, giving them a scare. She escorts the reporters out of the area and they engage in small talk along the way. Turns out, the soldier has some prejudice against men and is a warmonger.
I don't get it. I mean, off the record, I understand fighting for equal pay and all that garbage, but I thought you were pacifists too.
Who wants peace when we have not yet begun to fight?
13 minutes remain before the men face the greatest mass extinction. An assassin breaks into a certain doctor's apartment in Jordan.
Dr. Frozan Hamad?
Who are you? How did you find me?
There's no time for that, ma'am.
Ma'am, you're American. Why would you try to kill me?
I don't. I'm here to help you escape.
But Dr. Frozan doesn't want to go back to the U.S. The agent known as Agent 355 warns her that there will be more assassination attempts on her life if she doesn't come with her. But the doctor isn't afraid, saying she will not be bullied by some Muslim extremists who are trying to derail her efforts to end the honor killing of her sisters. But the agent informs her that the so-called extremists are not after her because of that, but because of the amulet around her neck. As they discuss, they don't notice the two assassins trying to break into the house.
They're after the amulet of Helene, Doctor.
Amulet? It's a worthless necklace, a crude stone idol.
Then you'll part with it before someone gets hurt.
Never. My father told me that a catastrophe comparable to the Trojan War would take place if it were ever removed from this land.
Of course, the doctor doesn't believe this, but she believes strongly in her family tradition and wouldn't leave the land, no matter what Agent 355 says. Suddenly,
No!
the assassins break in but are swiftly dealt with. After dealing with the assassins, she checks on the doctor, but it's too late. Meanwhile, things just keep getting stranger as we see another doctor about to give birth. The nurse asks who her doctor is, but the woman reveals that she doesn't have one.
What? You're in your 3rd trimester and you haven't seen someone yet?
Sunil has been providing parental care and performing appropriate tests.
Is Is he the father?
No, he's my research assistant. I'm the father.
The nurse doesn't understand, and she reveals that she's having her own clone. He's reluctant to help her deliver the clone baby due to legal issues, but after being threatened, he finally decides to help her.
Fine, but we can't do this here.
It's 4 minutes before the incident, and we see a firefighter getting ready for duty, his girlfriend wishing him safety as he heads out.
Just come back safe, okay, Joe?
At the same time, Yorick is still having a conversation with his girlfriend Beth over the phone. Still on the issue of getting a job, he reveals that he had spent half of his savings on a strange trinket he had found in a magic store. After taking out the ring inside, he then proposes to her.
Beth DeVille, will you marry me?
Representative Brown, your husband just called. He's going to be late for his party tonight.
Men can't live with him.
So, what time does your patrol end?
Quiet. Did you hear that?
3 bodies for 1 recovered artifact, huh?
This isn't right.
Darren?
Joey? What the hell is happening?
All over the world, all the men began falling to the ground for some unknown reason.
Mayday, mayday. Where is everyone?
Just hold on, son. You're going to be okay.
Please, no.
Oh God, this is all my fault.
Also, we have to use a train.
Stand down, soldier. It's just the man.
All the men are dead.
Hello?
2 months later, Yorick, being the only man alive, is disguised as he walks down the street when suddenly a huge truck narrowly misses him. A woman steps out and apologizes, explaining that she isn't used to driving a truck yet, as she used to be a model. She's transporting the remaining dead bodies, being the only job she could find, and asks him for help getting the bodies back into the truck. He reluctantly helps her and they engage in small talk. She tells him about a group of terrorists that call themselves the Amazons. These women believe that the male purge was an act of God and are trying to rid the world of sperm banks and anything that could possibly cause a repopulation. They continue their small talk, but that's when she discovers the pet monkey in his cage.
Please don't touch that.
He yells, but it's too late. She lets the monkey out and it jumps on his face, revealing the face behind the mask.
Hi there.
Meanwhile, Agent 355 is out scouting for the next person in line as President of the United States. But Ms. Valentine, who happens to be the Secretary of Agriculture, seems rather reluctant to occupy the seat.
You can't keep hiding, ma'am. You're the highest ranking woman in America right now. Are you still willing to serve?
Meanwhile,
No way.
after confirming that he's really a man, she decides to take him hostage.
Get inside the truck.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna sell you.
She cuffs him to the truck, ready to sell him for some quick cash. But thankfully, Yorick's skills as an escape artist kick in, and he successfully escapes her grasp and makes his way to find his mother at the White House. She's still grieving the loss of her husband and son. When suddenly, Yorick appears behind her.
Boy, security sure has gotten lame in this joint since all of the men died.
She tackles him to the ground but is shocked to see that it's her son. They share a warm reunion and she explains to him that his father didn't make it like he did. This upsets Yorick, but he gets down to business, explaining to her that he suspects the reason for his survival is the strange ring he had gotten from the magic shop. His mother has her doubts about that, but Yorick proceeds, telling her of his plan to find Beth, his girlfriend in Australia. However, the congresswoman is against it and suggests he meet up with the clone doctor to figure out how they can save the human race from extinction.
Wait a minute, you mean cloning? I thought you helped outlaw that.
I did. But this isn't the same world it was 2 months ago.
Suddenly, a bright light illuminates their faces from the outside, and a gunshot shatters their window.
Get down!
Yorick thinks it's the Amazons he had heard of.
No, it's worse. Much, much worse.
Meanwhile, Agent 355 is on her way back to the White House with the new president. But they first have to get through the maze of crashed vehicles on the highway. But during that time, the wives of the opposing party are trying to take over the White House and secure their husbands' positions.
Listen up, those were just warning shots. We don't want to hurt anyone, but we can no longer tolerate your coup of our government.
They warn, holding a hostage with them. Yorick's mother leads him out of there. She tells him that they are escaping to a fallout shelter where they will both be safe. But when they arrive, she locks him inside instead of going with him.
Not us, Yorick. I'm sorry, honey, but I couldn't risk you doing something stupid.
Hiding the presence of her son from her colleagues, she leaves to deal with the rampaging women outside while Yorick tries to figure out how to escape. Outside, things aren't looking good. The women with the hostage make unreasonable demands about claiming office positions, and the congresswomen try to deal with it. But that's when one of the women accidentally pulls the trigger, killing the hostage.
Oh God, my finger slipped.
No!
All hell breaks loose and a gunfight ensues.
Dane!
Just then, a truck crashes into the White House. As Agent 355 arrives.
Drop your weapons, please.
The new president steps out and tries to calm the situation. The women air their grievances about the Constitution and the need for a new one. The president listens carefully, but just then, Yorick steps out and reveals his presence.
If you people really care about the next generation, you'd think twice about throwing away the document that's worked well for the last 200 years.
Who is that? That's Yorick. He's my son.
The president leads them to her office where she asks about his plans. Yorick then reveals that he plans to help the cloning bioengineer with her research and then find his girlfriend in Australia. However, his overprotective mother objects to it, saying Yorick must stay in the White House while they find a way to bring Beth and the clone doctor to him.
Mom, I survived on the road for months by myself, but I was in this place 15 minutes before it turned into Night of the Living Dead.
You're right.
Wait, I am?
It won't be long before others learn of your existence, and I don't think it's wise to keep you in one location where they'll always be able to find you. At the same time, I have no intention of letting the best hope for our future hitchhike across the entire planet. We'll do everything to reunite you and your friend, but after you've found Dr. Mann, I don't want you leaving the States.
She assigns Agent 355 to be his chaperone, who objects at first but is convinced by a rather persuasive president.
Godspeed, both of you, and whatever you do, don't mess this up.
Meanwhile, Alter, the Israeli soldier, is arguing with her subordinate about their war strategy when a call comes in.
Wait, when did the phone start working?
Paula, to whom am I speaking?
That's not important.
Yes, it is. This is a direct line to the government house in the United States. How did
None of that matters. The only thing that should concern you right now is a man named Yorick Brown.
Yorick finds himself in a rather difficult situation.
You know, I'm seriously rethinking my no-hitting women policy.
1 hour earlier, Yorick and Agent 355 are on their quest to find the clone doctor. They make small talk as they get to know each other. The agent reveals that she'd lost her family a long time ago, while Yorick talks about his fiancée Beth and his big sister, a woman named Hero, who he hasn't seen in a while. Along the way, they encounter a monument with strange carvings on it.
Wait, what the hell is that?
They turned one of the monuments into an ad hoc memorial for all of the men.
Seeing this, Yorick decides to pay his respects despite the agent's warning, and he slips away into a crowd of women who are paying their respects. There he meets a rather friendly woman named Rose. Hiding his identity, he introduces himself as Beth and gets rather friendly with the woman. But while they're getting comfortable, paying their respects, a rather unruly group shows up.
What is it?
It's the Amazons, and they are ready to cause trouble. Yorick watches as they openly disrespect the monument, as Rose explains to him that they would seize any opportunity to disrespect any symbol of patriarchy.
Whatever. We'll just clean it up later. It's not worth getting killed over.
But Yorick won't have that, and he angrily approaches the Amazons.
Man, that chick is nuts.
Angered by their actions, Yorick wastes no time challenging them. Reveling in his stupidity, he takes off his mask and reveals his identity.
Impossible. You're just a cross-dresser.
Tell that to the Adam's apple.
They go back and forth for a while, making nonsensical argument, but things suddenly take a turn for the worse.
Mother Earth eliminated your kind for a reason.
Then why am I still here?
I don't know, but it's an oversight I intend to correct. I'm sorry about this, but the oppressed have no choice but to rise up and destroy their...
Yorick puts up a good fight, but just when they're about to put him out of his misery, Agent 355 steps in.
You get one warning, let him go. Please.
Raise your hand to me and I'll open you up faster than...
Run.
After rescuing him, Agent 355 gives him a lecture. She'd been watching him for a while, but purposefully decided to stay out just to teach him a lesson. She snaps at him, asking what he was thinking for revealing himself like that, after being given such an important mission.
I was thinking we needed some motorcycles, all part of the plan.
But as they discuss about their destination, they don't realize that the gang leader is paying attention.
Victoria! We run into a man.
The gang leader arrives at the Amazons' base. She reports the incident that had just happened, and the leader of the Amazons organizes a search party, asking for a volunteer leader.
I volunteer.
The person who volunteers just happens to be the woman named Hero, Yorick's big sister.